Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of the Loan Officer Marketing Podcast. We have Nicole Rueth on the show. Nicole, welcome to the show.
I am excited to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Is it accurate to say that you are the number one lender in the Denver, Colorado market?
I have been the number one per Scotsman guide for 5 out of the last 7 years. So I will tell you the last couple of years, the market, we have fallen off, but man, we're coming back with vengeance. So I'm excited to reclaim that title.
Well, that is tops in my books, and boy, wouldn't I like to be in your shoes. So that's absolutely fantastic. Um, you take a totally different approach than most loan officers to brand and how you attract your clients. Your website is absolutely gorgeous and all focused around investing in real estate and building wealth through real estate and all those wonderful things. So, the first question, just to kick things off, tell us a little bit about you and how you approach your brand in the marketplace.
So who we are is very clear at this point, right? And I started out as all lenders do. I was bouncing to different real estate offices. I was dropping off my candy. I was going to the Chamber of Commerce meetings, the association meetings, the open houses. And I was trying to meet real estate agents with flyer and lollipops in hand, or bagels, probably more accurately, right? And I did that for a long time. I mean, because that's what you do. And
Yep.
and I did that for a long time, and I had my 3 to 4 loans a month. And I thought that that was good, honestly. And it was I was coaching somebody, or I apologize. I was being coached.
Yep.
And the coach that I had at the time said something to me that I'll never forget, because I was raising 3 kids and married, and I'd come off of corporate America. And so there's a lot more to that story that I won't go into. Otherwise, this would be a 2-hour podcast. But the bottom line is that the coach had asked me a question. He goes, I can see your brilliance. He goes, I wish you'd see it. And I'm
Hmm.
really just waiting for you to decide to be all in.
Wow.
And so it really did strike me square in the face to go, when am I going to treat this like a business
Hmm.
and not like a part-time gig
Yeah.
where I'm trying to get a couple of deals a month? And to no offense, there's some people that absolutely treat this like a business and they still roll with 2 to 3 loans a month. That's still a decent income, but I wanted to do more and be more and have an impact. I'd come from corporate America. I was running multi-million-dollar projects. I had a team underneath me of 30, 40 people. And so to then shift gears and to be this kind of lone ranger, so it wasn't, so I started kind of trying to define that space.
Yep.
And so as I was trying to define that space, I landed in a John Fisher investment club meeting.
Hmm.
And the only reason I went, and I will tell everybody that's listening, is put yourself in positions you don't think the competition wants to go to. That's
Huh.
why I went. So I went, I was a finance major at UT Austin. I was corporate America running these large scale projects at Arthur Andersen, which is now Accenture. And I was, running loans. And so I was like looking for a place that where could I be outside of a chamber meeting, an association meeting, something like that, because that was not it was not going to show my strengths. So I
Right.
show up at an investment club meeting, and this is before social media. I'm totally dating myself. So this is before social media. But I went to this John Fisher Investment Club meeting, and it was in this dingy hotel in kind of this quiet, dark room. And these guys were trading car lots and car washes for apartment buildings, for storage units, for all these other things. And I thought, there's going to be 2 residential deals in this room, maybe
Hmm.
1, and I'm going to
Yep.
get it. And I'm going to get it. Right? Because nobody else is showing up, because it was
Yeah.
like the most awkward, not residential room you've ever been in.
Right.
And so this is a very long answer to your question.
No, this is great. This is amazing. I did not know people trade properties like cards, and I would like to enjoy. I'd like
Oh
to
my God. No,
attend
no,
one
no,
of these
no. So
meetings.
it was car lots for car. It was all property. Car lots for car washes. Um, so I meet this guy, a real estate agent, clearly, who's in the
Yeah.
room, and I'm trying to get real estate agents. So I meet him. I sit down with him. I'm talking to him about his business, and he happens to have shown up specifically because he had a fourplex. He had one property that he wanted to sell off market. And so he was bringing it to this investment club to see if there was a buyer for it. I happened to sit by him trying to pick up a realtor. He ended up picking up an investor. And there's so much more to that story that goes into that was a hard no for me, like a massively big, wide, hard no. My upbringing, my story about money, my story about safety and stability, buying a fourplex was as far removed from my life as it ever could be. My house was safety and stability, and I finally had a roof over a roof over my head with 3 little kids, and I was done. I was just doing my job in a space that I knew I could compete. And so ultimately, though, I did end up buying that fourplex to my chagrin, and I did buy it, and it turned into a journey. It turned into a new trajectory that I didn't see coming. But when I figured it out, when I saw that it was happening, like it's like building the plane while you're flying it, it was happening. And I didn't see it at first. I didn't
Yep.
see that this was something bigger than just me buying a fourplex. And when I finally realized that I'd broken through years of story, I was like, this is something I need to help other people do, because this is something that if nobody leans in, then how awful do I feel that I had the opportunity and I didn't take it?
Yep.
And so when you talk about, okay, how do you do, back to your question, when you talk about how is it that you're marketing and how is that different? I am leaning 100%, and my whole team is leaning 100% into this concept of building wealth through real estate, and not as a tagline and not oh, isn't that cute? But no, we're going all in on wealth. We're going all in on real estate, and we're taking as many people as we can with us.
Yeah.
And my marketing is marketing. My marketing is sharing the news, and it's deeply rooted in what I believe. And I feel like when you reach that thing, and I
Yep.
don't care if it's horses, ranches, condo life, urban life, rural life, lifestyle life,
Yep.
whatever that thing that is so deeply passionate, you don't need a big group of potential clients to make an incredible career.
Yep.
You need a stronger message.
I could not agree more. And there's so many different reasons why people got into the mortgage business, but I don't think many people start off and they talk to the guidance counselor as like, there you go, I'm dating myself too, and it's like I want to be a loan officer when I grow up. Most people have a story
Yeah.
of an experience that they had with somebody who helped them, or even I thought I could do better, and they end up in the mortgage industry because they have an original origin story of passion about something, and leaning in on that I think can be super powerful. Now, what you're doing, helping empower people through real estate,
Yeah.
allows you to broaden your content. So you do a great job on content marketing, building your brand online, but you're never talking about rate updates or that sort of thing. Like, you do a really good job of creating content around real estate as the vehicle. Can you talk about how you approach your content and attracting that tribe to you?
So I don't know why I love it. I do love it though. It's probably the finance background. I love the economy and the economics of what's happening.
Yep.
Um, I have put my foot in my mouth a couple times on the politics side. It's really hard to avoid. But I do love making the complicated simple.
Yep.
I used to have a tagline. One of my older taglines before building wealth through real estate was "Mortgages Made Simple," and it was really just about this doesn't have to be complicated.
Yep.
In fact, I say that all the time. Is that buying real estate, investing in real estate, building wealth is not complicated. It's so simple. It's just not easy, right? I mean,
That's
there's
right.
a difference.
Yep.
So that how do you decompose what seems to be this complex um ball that you can't see through, this opaque thing that is But it's really just like these little small series of steps, and knowing a right deal when you see it, or a right next step when you see it, or the right partnership when you see it, or it's those things that it's like, let's take this and let's spread it out and create a through line, right?
Yeah.
And what is that for you? So for me, it's the economy. So I love to take all of this noise, and the noisier it gets, the more fun I have. So these next 4 years, it's like freaking Candyland. So all of this noise and saying, I get it. I get it. Fear is heavy, stress, uncertainty off the charts. This
Yeah.
unknowing of, will I have a job? Will I have a paycheck? Can I make the right decision? Is that decision the right decision a year from now? The changes that are happening and the speed by which.
Yeah.
And my premise on all of this is the fact that the speed by which is not going to change. So
That's
it's
right.
not like, well, when this current president is no longer president, everything's going to get back to normal. No, the things and the things that are changing are going to be difficult to be unchanged, and the fact that the speed of technology that's also happening during the same period of time is going to create a space in which we have to just learn how to succeed and communicate and be successful in uncertainty. And if we can't, then this isn't the right business for us. We need to go get a full-time job that's 8 to 5. And that's fine. That's for a lot of people. I can still help you build wealth through real estate. But if you're going to do this and you're going to do this well, and you're going to do it for people, and you're going to help them create success, then you have to be the certainty
That's
in
right.
uncertainty.
Yep.
So that's my through line. I can honestly tell you, I can talk about anything. I can talk about anything and I can make it work, right? Because I can talk about the complexity of condos, and how we have to make it simple because it is truly the pathway to affordability. I can talk about the complexity of an unaffordable market like the market I live in Denver. And if you're trying to invest for cash flow, you're probably going to be looking at a state, or here's how you get creative. I can talk about no income to qualify for a loan, because declining income is a very real thing in a situation like this. Or I can talk about controlling what you can control, controlling the controllables, and creating consistent income and providing a roof over your head that is fixed, that you can have rentable rooms, that actually makes you a little bit more resistant to a loss of job. And then I could talk about Jay Powell, and I could talk about the economy, and I could talk about inflation, and I can talk about all those things, and how we create a simple message
Yeah.
that creates a little bit of certainty as to what might come next.
That's awesome. And I feel like when you lead with the certainty and you lead with education, you build that bond and that trust before the person shows up to submit the application, and before that person goes through the process and experiences the professionalism of the business as well. So the professionalism of the content and the education comes all the way through the entire process, all the way up to funding, and then obviously nurturing the relationship long term. So talk to me a little bit about where, because this is the number one question we kind of get on the podcast, like, where does the business come from? Is it majority referrals? Is it majority real estate agents? Where does it, like, what does that breakdown look like for you?
The majority of my business is real estate agents. A good portion of my business is now coming from YouTube, and social media. And then, of course, I get the constant feedback loop from my database. We do stay in touch very well. While I don't have personal call outs to my database, we do email out every week. I do a video on something that's relevant to the current environment, and we send that out to our entire database as well as to our agents. We do a lot of education for agents, whether it's I have a monthly class in my office. I do the weekly videos to them. I do a Saturday blog to them. And a lot of people want to do AI, and you should have AI write your blogs. And I'm like, I get it. No, I totally get it. It would free me up. It would open up space. And some people can't even tell. But it's not, I think the very thing of who I am and how
Mm-hmm.
that connection is because I'm seeing things that an AI bot can't quite see yet.
Yep.
It's defining, it's taking the facts that of what's happening with the GDP or inflation or what Jay Powell said after, and spinning it in such a way that says, and this is why your clients need to know, right?
That's
So
right.
it's a little bit different. And yes, somebody could tell me I could train GPT for that. But so I send out these, so I'm educating constantly. I also do other educational events around town consistently. So that brings in a business. I don't dial for it. Rarely do I do lunches anymore.
Yep.
I'm usually in my office most of the time, and I don't want to say I make the phone ring, but I'm present, and I'm listening and I'm ready. And when people want to know what their very next best step is, they know they will never be sold with me. They'll never get a
Yeah.
guilt trip if they decide to go in a different direction, and they'll get a solution that if not now, when?
Yeah.
I just had an agent tell me yesterday, they're like, I've got a complicated scenario. You're the only one I'm calling because I know you'll tell them the truth.
That's
And if
right.
they can't buy today, you'll be the one that has the heart to tell them why and how to get there.
Yeah.
And so that meant a lot to me. And that's the way I work.
And that's the relationship-based business, providing certainty in what could be a tricky deal,
Mm.
providing that certainty to that real estate agent. So okay, so there's so much value here, Nicole, and thank you for your time. There's so many different ways we could take this. Let's focus in on the AI discussion just for a second because I'm becoming somewhat known for the AI component because we have AI conversations in our CRM and that sort of thing. And I've really kind of pivoted my perspective on artificial intelligence because I'm probably 4 to 5 hours a day with AI assisting me on what it is that I'm doing. And I see a lot of people positioning AI as like it can do all this work for you and it can take all of this stuff on. And my relationship with it has pivoted almost to like, you're not going to do my work for me, but you're going to allow me to do my work better, faster, and more detailed, more efficient than what I would have done on my own, or at least the same, but in half the amount of time. And so I completely agree with your point of announcement comes out, Jay Powell says his thing. It's not, hey, AI, write me a message for my database on what Jay Powell said. It's, I'm going to create this message and I just want you to fine tune my points, make sure I've got my strategy effective. And I find that having that approach with it, I think that's more in line with how it's designed to work with us. Because what I'm now starting to find is it's almost the memory of the AI that's the greatest tool or asset for me because I'll be talking to it because I write a daily email. And so I'll be talking to it about an email and it will remind me like, hey, Chris, 2 weeks ago in the email that you sent out, you referenced this. Do you want to add that to this one? I'm like, yes, I do. That's a great idea. And so it's still me and still my unique content, but AI assisted. So are you adding AI to any of the processes that you're doing right now?
So we do use it to structure our marketing, to come up with ideas, to create outlines for topics. So my Saturday morning is kind of a blessed time. It's just me and my coffee, and it's before the sun rises. But I will say that we, on the marketing side, we have used it a lot, and I really like it more for outlining things,
Yeah.
putting together a project, putting together. We just did an 8-week crush with a group of agents where we brought them to owning their daily habits and their mindset and motivation. And then it culminated with a retreat, a 2-day retreat at this beautiful space, the Broadmoor down in Colorado Springs. And so I did use AI for that to generate an outline of what would an 8-week course look like, what would a 2-day course look like, if these are the things that I'm looking to achieve, and these are my people. And so it gave me some really great structure from
Yep.
which to work. So we do use it a lot from that perspective, in creating headlines and all of those things. So, but I've still got so much to learn. I love the idea, and I have been uploading a lot more of my just off the cuff content. So
Yep.
I'll do Facebook Lives. And I started doing those again weekly. I used to do them, and I took a 18-month hiatus, and then I just brought them back. So I'll download those and I'll upload them to ChatGPT, and it just gobbles those up. And it's like, okay, we're spot on. I got you now. It's talking back to me, so it's fun.
That is awesome. Well, so thank you for being so generous with your time. If I may, one final question.
Yes.
So you mentioned in your course content for the event that you did, having a daily focus and having a daily intention in the business. Do you follow a schedule? Do you have a set focused?
You're not gonna like mine.
I am though. That's why you're at the top of the market. You're
Yeah.
the successful, and everybody has something that works for them, and I'm interested in what works for you.
So, I love mornings. I
Mm.
love my days are intense. So they're, I don't want to say they're self-created. I do love to say yes, to as many people as I can. So that does fill up my days. So I love my mornings. So I have given up my evenings for my mornings.
Ah.
So I typically will go to bed somewhere around 8-ish.
Hmm.
On a late night, it's 9. And then I am up anywhere between these days between 2:30 and 3:30.
Wow.
So I need 6 hours of sleep. So
Okay.
depending on when I go to sleep, I just set the alarm for 6 hours later. So it just kind of lands there. And I started out with meditating, and I have a very peaceful meditation that I go through to bring me down into kind of subconscious in my walk with my papa, my spiritual leader, my God. And then I leave the meditation place with coffee in hand, and I go to my desk and I do my gratitudes, and I write out my quarterly goals. I rewrite them every morning, and then I write my
Ah.
daily goals to hit my quarterly goals. So I do that, and then I look at my calendar, my day's events. I meditate on success, and I start to kind of vision what that day is going to look like. If it's going to be on stage, or if I'm going to be presenting, or if I'm doing something, I'm visioning that. And then I go into, and I do a little bit of journaling. It depends on my mood that day. And then I go into checking what's my email, what's my task from yesterday that I have to send out. The send later on the phone. Oh, when the iPhone introduced send later, I thought I'd gone to heaven. So I send a lot of texts at like 4 in the morning, but they don't get actually sent until 8 at a respectable time. So that's, the whole thing probably takes a minimum of an hour. If I'm really feeling like I need to center myself, it might take an hour and a half. And then I'm working out by 5 a.m. So I'm usually doing all of that. And then I probably work for an hour on a project, a presentation I'm writing, a thing we're putting together. I'm doing an investment presentation tonight. So I was finishing up the presentation slide deck this morning in that time. And then I'm in the gym from 5 to 6, and then I'm in the shower and getting ready for the day.
That is amazing. And then your day, are you calendar based? Is it pretty much like if it's on the calendar, it gets done and there's no time for anything else?
I am 100% calendar based. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is amazing. Isn't it incredible how all of a sudden you own your time and you control it? The fires almost like put themselves out, or there's
They
just
do.
like far fewer of them because,
Agreed.
isn't that
Yes.
interesting? Hmm, cool.
No, agreed.
Nicole, that in itself, that little snippet was just like super valuable. Thank you for sharing because you got to be vulnerable to share that type of stuff. And I sincerely appreciate your candor on the podcast.
You're welcome. Of course.
If people want to learn more about you or the team or what you're up to, how do people
Yeah.
reach out?
So we have a very I do a lot of my little personal writings on Facebook. I know it feels like it's a dying platform, but still on Facebook, on Instagram, it's either Nicole Rueth or the Rueth team. It's RUETH. And on YouTube, we're doing shorts almost daily and longs at least once a week. So definitely reach out. We're also putting together programming on a regular basis right now. In April, we've got a 6-month wealth course getting started. I'm tired of people, really, really, really good people, not having the stability and security, knowing what their future is going to look like when it's so simple to do
Yeah.
it through real estate. So I have put together a 6-month course that kicks off April 8th. So if you're interested in any of that, DM me, reach out to me. I'm not hard to find.
Awesome. That is amazing. Well, Nicole, thank you for being on the show.
Yes. Yes. You're very welcome. It's absolutely a pleasure.
Awesome. To all our listeners, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.